All right, let me talk to you about PTSD real quickly here. I'm going to try to keep this one smooth and fast. Um, I don't know about fast, but smooth. All right, let's just talk where memories are created. Let's do the military PTSD. So they teach you to um, not be afraid of gunfire. This is the same as horses. Horses are police horses are shot gunfire around them numerous times, and finally the horse catches on that gunfire is not a threat. So same thing with people in the military. You realize that those noises are not a threat to your human body. Now, at one point, you load a file. So you're loading files. First, guns kill, this kills, and this is all going to the frontal lobe here. All these files. But you make another file after you get all these files. You make another file that says, "Oh, I'm relatively safe. This is going to be okay. That not I'm bulletproof, but no, I'm okay." So you make an okay file of whatever nature, or your file might make a file saying, "I don't care if I die," some craziness, right? Whatever you come up with. Whatever your file is. I call these so you got source files. That's all your source files. They're not decision files. They're just source files. And then when you make a decision, the file is below that. That's going to be a conclusive file, conclusion file, or the decision file if you like. So you make a rational decision. It goes into there. Once that decision is made, I think your brain in the amygdala section will protect that decision. Not talking about ego or anything like that. It will protect it so much so that anyone who counters that decision, including yourself, in doubts, will create stress. The amygdala can create stress effects. It creates blood pressure, anxiety, anger. It can do a lot of things. It can put you in attack mode is what it can do. Of course, it can make you run. And that would then create the anxiety, and you got to run in fear. One of the ways I'm saying. Now keep that in mind. Now, going to your military thing. Now, you finally get over to, let's call it Afghanistan, Iraq. You finally, you got all these files saying, "I can do this. This is going to be fun." Those are all you have a couple decision files. This is going to be fun. It's going to be okay. I'm going to get back home. You got multiple files. All right, no PTSD yet. You still living. You still got a file thinking about your family and things like that. All right, you got all these normal files. Sometimes when we get too many files, we overload the one ability to think. You can't load all the files at once, or even two files at once can't be loaded. And I'll tell you this, for example, you can't consciously tell me you count to 100, or whatever number you choose, and you cannot also tell me your ABCs in any order. You can't count to 100, and you can't tell me your ABCs in any order. Now you say, "Oh, yes, I can." You're taking a break between each one, and you're switching files over as you do it. And you say, "Well, I only have one mouth. I can't." Well, fair enough. Count out loud and think about the ABCs inside, and tell me if you can do it. You cannot. So one file can be brought to the conscious level at a time. Multitasking would be, I think, is going to fall under your autopilot zone, which is going to be, it could be the hippocampus. It could be your hippocampus right here, which helps with these people who have, I'm not going to get too Alzheimer's. They can't remember where they are and things like that. So I think this hippocampus helps us get up in the middle of the night and remember where to walk with our eyes practically closed to the bathroom. All right, so going back to this, I just want to give you some idea. Now, the brain, there is no brain expert. The brain has not been fully mapped. So therefore, there is no brain expert that exists. There are surgeons who stitch it up and take out sections and all that, but there's not one single brain expert in the world, no matter what you may hear. An expert knows everything about that topic, right? No one knows everything about this topic. That person or computer doesn't exist, except for, guess what? You have a brain. You're the expert of your brain. So moving on. So now you finally got to do some gunfire. All right, so it's a little bit traumatic, a little stressful because your heart rate's juicing up and all that because a file loads that says, hey, this is the real thing, but maybe it's just a slight real thing, and you go away laughing about it. All right, no big deal, and you still got the family file and all these other files loading. Okay, everything's good. Family file, bills due, things like that. At one point, you may have to, it may be a point where now someone may have to die. You have to kill somebody. All right, you finally look at that human that that you have to kill, and say you can't do it yet, and that's because you don't have a file that you created. You may have shot boards and targets and things like that, and told yourself you can do it. But then you have to load these files and say, wait a minute, he'll kill me, he'll kill my friends, I won't make it home. And so those files make the decision saying, oh, I better do it, I got to do it, I got no choice. And you made this decision file here. You do the killing, okay? So you kill the person, self-defense, however your final decision was. All right, so that's another file down here. Now, let's just say let's just advance this, that you've killed one or many, and at one point, your brain is now knowing it's a fight for life. That file has now got increased to say this file is loaded. Here's all the sources, but then the one file is loaded that says we are in a fight for our life. This means the amygdala takes care of fight for the life deal. It's the one that deals that. At that point, when your amygdala is activated, it doesn't give a shit about any of these other files. The family life, the bills, none of that matters. In fact, if you try to make the person consciously think about it, the amygdala says it's insignificant. It makes you snap. You're snapping now. These files don't matter. What matters is that the human body needs to live. And so all that matters is I get the fuck out of this place. I take care of this, do that. And this is why other people might not matter after a while. That may come into your zone, if you will. Your fellow people. I'll say. How's that? I won't be clear. I won't clarify. You guys you add what I mean by people, right? So now you've only got this is how to survive file. Food, live, and on, and then every now and then. So what happens is your amygdala says to the conscious brain, "Hey, how are we doing? And how are we doing out there?" All the time it says the conscious brain, "How are we doing?" Your brain loads the files and says, "Nope, we're still in life crisis. We're picking this file right here again. It's the fight for our life." And it goes back to the amygdala, and the amygdala says, okay, in that case, we're going to keep the body up in stress. We're going to keep it going. We're ready to fight. And so now you're on edge, and you're not dialed down. You're dialed in. So you have to be able to get hold of the conscious brain here when it says, hey, how are we doing? You need to have another file that loads, hey, how are we doing? Okay, well, we just had an event. We lived. We killed somebody. We almost got killed. Our friends died. So here's the thing. I'm not going to make it home. I have doubts, this and that. All those files, you need to throw in another file that says, that you need to group those together and throw a file together that says, hey, I made it. I'm okay right now today. So you tell your amygdala, I'm okay today. Today was a job, and it was a rough day, but we're not dead. And so therefore, I need you to stand down. You need to tell the amygdala, stand down. We're at lunch now. Let's open up these other files and put this away, and let's talk to the wife or kids or family. Let's talk about the bills and all that. Let's keep this file away. Don't let your amygdala, if you're starting to feel stressed, your amygdala will want to jump in and say, we don't care about these files. And this is when you'll start snapping on the smallest of things because they're insignificant. Also note this, that the amygdala, any attack on the human, and I say human words for the reason, is an attack on the human. So any attack is an attack. I don't care if it's verbal or anything else. Once it's an attack, the amygdala fires up and it wants to fight. It doesn't care about all these other files. It wants to fight instinctually. If you're in the military, run, it will cause you anxiety and stress like you want to run. But so now, and if you don't have a fight on hand, well, that'd be anxiety and stress. You're dialed up because you got nowhere to, you're pent up, if you will, okay? So now, even if you hit your hand in a door, you ever close your hand in a door? You're the one that did it, and yet you feel like slamming the door or going off on the door. That's because it was an attack. You did it, but your amygdala fires up immediately saying, let's attack. And your conscious brain said, hey, you did it. but you're still, but the pain is there, and so quickly the amygdala says, "I got it. I'll take over. Let's slam the door. Let's go after it." And then you finally realize you broke the door and all that, and your amygdala says, "How we doing?" And you finally say, "You know what? I got this. I got this body. You know what we did? We just broke the door up. We closed our hand in the door and we just broke the door off. Fuck, man, I'm stupid." You load down stupid files, and then, why did I do that? Well, it's just a wrong cycle. And I'm telling you, you did it because your amygdala made you do it. Basically, temporary insanity. And so you holler at your wife because she says something opposite to what you think. And when I say think, you got these files. This is okay. But once you make a decision, that's a decision the amygdala holds, I think, and protects. So when somebody attacks that, including yourself, and I'll explain that part in a second too. So when someone attacks it or goes opposite to it, you'll attack. Now, it's a funny thing. The amygdala does have access keys, if you will. So in the military, it would be like your upper ranked person can then say, "Hey, stand down," and all of a sudden you're all aggressive, and then you'll dial it down. This person basically can act has direct access. It could be a family member that can do this. It could be a loved one. It could be seeing a pet, a dog, could calm this down. Water, anything, certain things key this amygdala down. Ideally, it would be yourself going, "I got the wrong file. I need to dial this off. It's not appropriate anymore. Dial it down, and come back to my senses." This will work for police officers, especially when they're all dialed up and they want to beat the person up after they get them at the car. They're still in this attack mode. They need to understand that the amygdala will always keep asking, "How we doing? How we doing? How we doing?" Back and forth, back and forth. How we doing? It's going to go from and so if they keep saying same answer, "We're not safe yet. We're not safe yet," it's going to go into attack mode and "How we doing? We're still not safe." And then next thing you know, it's saying, well, hell, we see a gun. Let's just shoot. And of course, military thing too. And then it's like, "Oh, it wasn't a gun." You're like, "Shit, it wasn't a gun." And now oh gosh, Anyway, let's move on from there and carry on rather. So now you had to keep some people to survive in a military zone, if you will, in a battle stressed area. Will keep that folder locked in that it's just survival. I'm not loading these other files. These are the persons that's going to have the most PTSD because they couldn't do it when they had the chance to load these files. So now they're going to stay in this zone until they basically go home. When you go home, how are you going to come out of this file? Your body's now going to see the same thing that kept the triggers there. It's going to see paper bags in the street as threats. It's going to see people screaming and walking in groups as threats. It's going to keep seeing all types of triggers as threats. And so you have to load a file. Basically, if you're home and you're in this position, you need to load a file that says, "Okay, I'm in the USA." You need to give it information. New files. Every time they make a ask, "What's going on?" "Oh, it's a paper bag. It could be that." And then the stress stays there. No, you need to say, "What's going on?" Amygdala says, "What's going on?" You say, "Hey, it's a paper bag. We're not in, this war zone. We're in the United States. It is a paper bag." You load another file. "Not in the war zone, United States, paper bag. I'm going to work. That is nothing but a paper bag. I'm okay. Please accept paper bags now as paper bags. It will not be ever that, ever again." And you just got to fight the urge to say, "Well, it could be." You can't let that file be part of these files. No, this is not, your war zone. This is the United States. It's a paper bag. So you make a conclusion over here. It's a paper bag. And so you let it, I've got to charge my batteries, I'm talking. So you let it stay as a paper bag. Let's just use that as a trigger. Okay, you're wearing your military clothes again. Those are triggers. Okay, you're not in the military anymore, or whatever. Or maybe you still are. You just say, "These are just clothes I'm putting on. This is the garb, this is the dress. This is the color. It does not put me back there. It puts me right here where I am." So you stay in the zone. We're in the zone where you are, literally, in the United States. This is not life-threatening. Well, some things can be, but you just throw that as part of the file. Yes, it can happen where some stranger runs up on me and whatever, but I'm not going to go into that. You're going to tell yourself you're not going to go into that. I'm not saying I won't go into that with you. So you've got to stay focused and do not let the amygdala kick in. This is the one that's going to give you this. It's not some crazy thing that you're happening to you. It's just a simple file keeps recycling. The amygdala keeps you in stress. It says, what's going on? And the same files are loaded. It keep coming to the same decision, and round you go in this cycle of PTSD. Always seeing it. It says, okay, you're in there. Here's the video. Here's what's going on exactly. The paper. It activates. It's paper. So you see a paper. Let's choose a U.S. right. So you see paper on the side, IED, if you will, in your mind. And that's because it was related to in your war zone that that your paper could mean this, paper could mean nothing. Paper means I got to make this phone call. Paper means this. It's got so many things. I'm using paper as an example there, and it's not even extreme, right? Paper bag, newspaper, anything, dead animals, right? Dead animal could have the IED in it, things like that. So all of those things are triggers. Driving down the street, putting on your clothes, the alarm clock, anything is a trigger. If it is, you just got to give it a new file and make sure you tell it, I'm in the United States now. And it's going to be a good one for you. You got to treat it like an ex-girlfriend. Hey, your new girlfriend does some nice stuff, right? Or your wife. You don't think, oh, my old girlfriend does that. You put that girl away. The old girlfriend, she gets dumped away into a file with an archive, I call it. You archive her not to really go looking in there. You know that file exists, but you don't open it up, right? So you don't open these files up. You know it exists. You don't open it up. That's the way a lot of people survive, by not opening those files up. And when you say the 1,000-yard stare from back in the day, right? The glazed over look. That's because they only have the one file loaded, and it's your PTSD file, and you don't have any of these other files coming in, and that's all you're living in here, back and forth. And amygdala's saying, what's going on, amygdala? What's going on? We're still in the zone. We're in this war conflict. We're reliving a video, back and forth. Don't let those files load. Put them away. Archive them like an old girlfriend. A bad old girlfriend, if you will. And go ahead and make new files and new information related to all the new stimuli, just like the new girlfriend will have the same thing as the old girlfriend, right? But they're not the same, right? They're not the same. You better not treat them the same. It's going to be your ass. Same thing with this. If you treat that paper bag the same as you did in your zone, or dead animal as you did there, you're going to flash back. So if you touch your woman, you know what I'm talking about. If you touch your woman, and think about the other woman, that's not going to work, right? You got a new woman there. You appreciate that new woman. That's a dead dog on the side of the road now. That's all it is. It's a dead whatever, Get out, load your new file, and feel sorry for the animal. Don't try to merge two files. Don't fuck around and think you're going to, let me see what's in that file for a minute. Oh, wow. And then put it away, and let me see what in the current day it says. You've got to be pretty strong in the conscious level to know what's going on when you do this. All right. So one of the tricks is the amygdala is a life and death thing, right? Right now, it thinks you're in life or death, but there is something that can supersede your PTSD in life and death. That is for you literally, well, I'm going to say it this way, choke yourself out. I don't mean with your hands. You're going to blow your air out. You're going to hold your nose. You're going to close off your eyes and your ears. And it's going to be pretty difficult, right? So you're going to use your thumb in your ears. You're going to use you're going to close your eyes. You're going to use your other two more fingers, closing your nose, pinch your nose. You're going to exhale, and you're going to get rid of those sources, because the amygdala can find threats through sight, sound, noise. As you know with flashbangs, that's the way it works. It hits the system so hard. The brain has never had that happen before. It has no final file to reference with all that information. So even though it normally can fight or flight, this point is so extreme, it just freezes. It freezes, and then that's how the flashbang works. And now you can do your move. A person can, be moved on at that point. So the same thing. What we're going to do now with the amygdala is we're going to while you're in this PTSD mode, you're going to close your eyes. You're going to exhale. You're going to plug your fingers with your ears with your thumb and close off your nose. And you're going to exhale all the way out. You're going to hold your mouth closed with your hands and all that. You're just going to palm your face and your ears like that. And you're going to do that until you can't hold your breath, until you need a breath. And at that point, when you go to get your breath, you will have reset. because you're basically killing yourself. And at that point, your amygdala says, we don't give a fuck about this person even trying to kill us. This imaginary PTSD stuff. Not imagine. It's the file doesn't it exists, but it's not happening in real life. It's not consciously happening. It's a file you keep reloading back and forth. At that point, you're going to hijack the amygdala with this suffocation, if you will. You're going to be suffocating the human body. The amygdala is then going to say, oh, we don't care about this file. You know what? We don't have any fucking oxygen. We need oxygen. We need oxygen. And you're going to hold out as long as you can, and then finally get your air. You're going to actually want to yawn. For some odd reason, I'm just yawning now. You're going to want to yawn, relax, enjoy, and don't go looking for those files while you aren't there. Because believe me, you just reset. You're clean right now. You won't jump back into that thing there. Just enjoy it for a minute, just for a moment. It's going to be a fleeting moment. At that point, you should feel very happy with yourself because you just realized that you can control your PTS flashbacks. You can stop them with this technique, and now you understand that the files work, and you're going to use the actual thing that's causing you distress, this PTS, the tension in your body, the amygdala. You're going to use it to help you get rid of itself. You can't keep letting your brain also cycle these files on triggers. So you need to let it load new files. I'm in the USA. I'm going to say USA, or you could be in any country you like. I'm going to be here, and you're going to keep doing that. Now, I think I wanted to touch on one more thing, but this stuff is so. I've got other things this works with. I mean, it really works with a lot. This is your PTSD solved right there. Now, it's going to exist. The files don't need it. You don't need to go to deep psychology to say, it was okay what you did under the situations and all. You don't need to load a new file for that. If you like to, you could. You can throw all those PTS triggers and say load a new file for it saying, I had to do what I had to do. You already loaded that file when you were there. You had to do what you had to do. That file's already done. This was the conclusive file that was made, and it said, let's do it. And it's not till now that the file is still running. It's not catching on. You're not getting new input. And so you're just stuck with amygdala firing you up, coming back to the frontal lobe of the brain saying, what's going on? You're giving it the same fucking report that it's a dead dog in the road. It's probably what it is. It's probably your IED, and then you're stuck here with this cycle. Put that damn thing in archive like an old girlfriend you don't like anymore, and start working on new files all the time. So I'm going to give you a little fun one. You got problems focusing on your girlfriend with sex, you want to fantasize with someone else? Look, you don't even have to. What you do is you load a new file. Every time you want to have sex, you load a file that says, this is a sexy time file, right? At that point, only sexy time files should be loading, not anything else. No other file about the kids or this or that. That's too much. The sexy time in these files, they don't even merge down here into a conclusive file. They create too much stuff trying to come here, and now you can't have sex. But here's the thing. Your girl might also be doing something else and loading. She might have a bunch of other files loaded. You might have loaded horny, let's get laid time. She might, I'm talking about guy and girl now, obviously, in this format. You can reverse this the way you like. Any combinations thereof. But she may be doing other things, worried about the kids and all that. If you want her to come into the sexy time folder, her folder, you need to help her get there. If she's talking about the kids and all that, you need to help her get there by, seduction. She needs to come to the sexy time folder and stay focused in there. So you can tell her about this folder thing here. And then she can come in the folder she can come into her folder and say, okay, I'm going to stay focused here. And I won't let other kids, all these other distractions load. And the same thing, when you get in your folder, you do the same thing. And the two of you you both stay in your folder, and you will have some great love making. That's the trick for some great love making too. The folder. So this is what I'm talking about here. Not this crazy deep psychological thing where you gotta, analyze, this and that, and was it your childhood that's bothering you? It's all BS. It's all a lie. All that psychology is just a lie. It's as simple as what I'm telling you, buddy. Loading files. Choke yourself out. That file will no longer be primary up here, cycling over and over and over again based on all the source information. Now, I'll add this, that this works for a lot of things. I don't know. I really want to say something. I just helped out someone. All right, let's do it this way. This works with someone who's dying of, say, a terminal illness. You load the information. You say, look, this is this, this is this and this. So you load up all the information. Then you determine, okay, you make a few conclusive a few files options. Okay, if I do this angle, if I do this angle, if I do this angle. And then ultimately you pick between these three and you say, this is the best bet. So then you choose it. Then you go down that course of action. But you have doubts whether that course of action was the correct one because these other two were there. The reason you didn't have doubts when you chose it, okay? So that was perfect. But the moment you chose it, your amygdala kicked in because you were confident with your choice, but you were not because your conscious level up here went back through and started running through the whole scenario again. But, what if I did this one? What if I did, oh, gosh, I know I got to choose one. I chose that one, but why? The moment you have a conflict, your brain takes that as an attack, and it's now going to stress you out. Your stress levels might stay months because as long as you keep thinking about, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right choice? You will be stuck in this zone, period. You have to when you make a decision, you have to know that was the right decision. These other two files can't exist in unity with this one. They can't still be options. You're going down this path. You could make something saying, at what point do I bail out of that technique? Well, you can have something that says, if I don't see results based on, these three criteria that I'm making, blood work, do scientifically, blood work, I like blood work, blood work on something, then we need to revisit the other angle. And if the other angle gives the same thing, well, perhaps all three. But ultimately, we're talking about death here, and you can't be death. That's a death file. You'll go into shock a little bit because you have nothing to do with the death file. Death file, it's got nowhere to go. It's here. It doesn't really cause too much stress, even though it can, but it really doesn't because there's nothing you can do about it. The brain says, "Why are you're in stress?" Because you're hurt. You say you're hurting, right? It's like it's hurting. So your body says you're hurting. That's pain. We'll give you amygdala fire up, and we'll make your heart beat funny, and we'll make you stressed a little bit. But when you go back to the brain says, "How are we doing?" The amygdala says, "How are we doing?" Real quickly, and the conscious says, "Hey, the person died. There is no other options. It's just a death file." So there we have how death is part of this deal. It's just a death file. And people committing suicide, well, they can't take this cycle going over and over again, the same answers. Everything keeps coming to the same answers. It's just living here saying we're here, we're here. This creates a lot of fear and anxiety by the amygdala saying we're there all the time. We just want relief. Then your conscious says we want relief, and ultimately put a bullet through here to try to stop it, to get the relief. In reality, you just need to dump this file, archive it, and start accepting new files. I didn't want to trigger you guys on the suicidal thing. You got to look at it as we're just talking. Please feel free to talk. Write me, and I'll give you a private number, and you can Skype me, and I can break you down a lot better, but and help you see the light a lot more. The visualization and all that. That's just your conscious able to do that. We all have a photographic memory, and so that's don't sweat that. And you say flashbacks when you see that. Well, yeah, your brain referenced files at that point. You saw the dead dog. Your brain said dead dog, and it says dead dog. It says you got a dead dog. It says here we go. Bling 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 bling. Here's all the files we have on dead dogs related to IEDs. Does this match up? Nope. It's probably a new one. We'll put it up here too. No. You say it's a dead dog. We're in the United States. We're okay. I'm not referencing those files. Go away files. No more than when your girlfriend says to you, hey, can I have a kiss? Do you reference old file of old girlfriend saying, can I have a kiss? Oh, yeah, I remember she actually this time. Hey, can we screw in the backyard? Oh, yeah, this one, and this one asked me that. No, you don't do that. We're able to eliminate that and go right with the happy because the girl's happy. She brings in new emotions, happiness. This is what you'll do. You'll bring in new happy emotions to everything you are. You're happy you're alive. And so when that dead dog shows you, like, I'm happy I'm alive. You got to come up with maybe a trigger phrase like that. Dead dog, it tries to bring up all these files of all the dead dogs, related to IEDs, things like that. You say, dead dog, fuck that, I'm happy to be alive. You load the other happy files. So with that said, this is your right part of your hemisphere over here and your left part. People who think negatively have more, the images have shown that there's more electrical impulses going on, if you will, on the right side of the brain. Positive people like myself, they have more electrons going on the left side of the brain. So when you say something's half full, This would be your negative side. Me, I'm like, hey, I got half a glass of something. Sweet. Now, if you say it's half full or half empty, that's just, it's either one. It's not, man. You got half a glass. You enjoy that fucking half a glass. You got your life right now, whether it be one leg or two legs or whatever. You got your life. Ultimately, if you don't really like your life because you can't load new files and you kill yourself, well then, you were just trying to get rid of pain. I'm not going to hate you either way. We're all going to die. So, I'm not going to help you. You've called me. I'm not going to help you get to that conclusion. I'm going to help show you that you got it made because somebody's on their deathbed is wishing they had your hand. Somebody's hand. Somebody on a deathbed, get ready to die. 3 hours from now, somebody's dear to die an hour from now might want to trade hands with the guy dying 3 hours from now. So your hand may look like shit, but somebody might want it. Somebody getting blown up by a real ID is going to die. They would want your hand with a missing leg or multiple things like that. So just remember that your hand's not as bad as you think it is. It's always, it's a sweet looking glass. Now, I say that, and I've got all my dexterities, but I can clearly look. I clearly have files to say if I lose an arm, oh well, what kind of robotics can I get? That's how I think positively. Not, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss the arms. I lost the arm. I didn't do it on purpose. It's gone. Okay, so what kind of robotics can I get? I want something to turn pots, man. I want some really nice stuff. I want to max it out. I don't have to worry about the veins in that arm. Gonna be any problem with the veins. Don't have to worry about hitting my fingers again. I want an arm I can crush shit with. I want the damn whatever you call that guy, the bionic man stuff. Anyway, or if I lost a leg, I want that springy stuff so I can run. You ever exercise? How hard it is on your legs? Well, now you only got the upper leg to worry about maybe. Lower leg is just a spring. So you got to work out half the muscles. Can't beat that. All right, that's the positive side I'm talking about and stuff. All right, so and what people think, you know what? That's because you have a file loaded in there saying you're worried about what people think. That file, you can just throw that in the damn dumpster. I don't even know. Put it whatever. You can re-alter that file, and this is a little longer thing I'm getting into, but this is because your mother put that program in you. I literally say mother because that's where it always comes from. Fathers rarely do it unless you were raised by your father only. Then you got your shit from them. Okay, so here we go. Hope you guys enjoy that, and hope it was very helpful. And I really do, really want to help you with this. I did want to add one thing about the, I think I told you it all. This will work for you in a lot of things. I have a lot more videos to do on this, and one of them especially would be about childhood abuse and how it changed you. But ultimately, you can save all that psychological crap and just remember that those are bad files. And when you're screaming and snapping, you can take it as an attack. It's not your ego. It's an attack on you. You can simply say, the amygdala will always ask you, is this an attack? And you'll load the same files and say, if you tell it yes, you go, yes, it is. Oh, here it is. Here's the last one. Here's just how the amygdala works so instinctively. You're watching a scary movie. You're at home. It's a flat screen. Something jumps out at the screen, and you jump back. And then within a moment, you say, son of a bitch, got me. Because it was nothing. You realize it was TV. Well, the moment it saw the knife, your brain saw the knife coming at it, the amygdala kicked in and said, it took over the body to retreat because the knife is going to retreat. Or me, I'm an attacker, so I would have, did a kick, a jump, or fucking, not a jump. I would have did a kick or a grab or a parry or something real sweet, right? So anyway, I'm that built that way because I loaded files like that a long time ago through whatever my abilities may be. Let's say that. So so now the moment you jump back, when you stop, say you moved, say you move me, I'll move a few actions all quickly, and that's when all of a sudden my brain will say, will come back. My amygdala will say to the conscious, hey, what's going on? We still good? Because it will turn the body back, it will turn the brain back on, saying, hey, I just took care of something real quickly, but I need to know what's the next step. What do we got going on? And that your brain can instantly say to amygdala, nah, man, we were duped. And you start laughing and giggling. And, oh, man, they got my ass, They made me jump. So Some people will jump and they'll be at the front door before they finally catch on. That means they were stuck with the amygdala operating in them that long, and then they finally called them at the front door because you're like, yo man, where the hell you going, Florida? That person took that long, and the amygdala was still kicked in before the conscious kicked it before it fit the conscious brain. Said, no man, that was nothing. We're good. So some people like getting pulled over by the cops. Well, the lights come on, they start running. That's because the amygdala says, hey, we're under attack, and it'll start jetting. And then they might drive quite a few blocks before the conscious brain kicks in and says, hey, that's the cops. She's like, oh shit, yeah. And they pull right over. All of a sudden, they become passive. And the cop's like, why'd you run? You're like, I don't know. I saw your lights. They really are telling the truth at that point. So, all right, that's some around up now. I hope this really helps you. Give me a little love here if it did. All right.